Hey guys, now you can do your IELTS speaking test with Google Gemini. So you get the chance with some live practice. You need to download the app from Google Play Store or Apple App Store. So now what you need to do, you need to go to Gemini and let's play the game. You need to click on the button. Hey,
Hey there, what's on your mind?
I'm thinking about doing some practice with you for my IELTS speaking test.
Sounds good. I can help you practice for your IELTS speaking test. Do you have any specific questions about the test, or do you want to start with a mock interview?
I would like to start the mock interview.
Alright, let's do it. To start, let's imagine you're in the exam room. The examiner will ask you some questions about yourself. For example, they might ask you where you're from. How would you answer that?
I am from California and I have been working for a company as a data scientist. There, I need to solve lots of problems and I need to pick up some issues like finding some analysis and doing some stuff and making some report presentations, this sorts of stuff.
Okay, well, that's all true. It might be better to keep your answer a bit simpler for the IELTS test. They want to see your English ability, not your whole life story. You could say something like this: I'm from California. I've been working as a data scientist for a few years now.
Okay, that sounds good. That makes sense.
Great. Now let's move on to the next part of the interview. The examiner will ask you some questions about a topic they give you. How would you feel about talking about your favorite movie?
To be honest, I am not a kind of movie person, but I used to see some animation movies. Recently, I have seen a movie which is related to a cartoon character that is Minions, and there are lots of things happening over there. They are playing around, and there was an enemy over there who was not good with the hero, and the hero tried to kick his ass. Now, this is the scenario with the movie thing.
Okay, for this part of the test, it's good to give more details and use more descriptive language. You could say something like this: Honestly, I'm not a huge movie buff, but I do enjoy the occasional animated film. Recently, I saw Minions: The Rise of Gru, and I had a lot of fun. I loved the colorful animation and the silly humor.
Okay, I got it.
Alright, the last part of the IELTS speaking test is a two-way discussion with the examiner. They'll ask you some questions related to the topic from the previous part. So, based on your interest in animated movies, they might ask you about the popularity of cartoons or the influence of animated films on culture.
That makes sense. Go ahead.
Okay, the examiner might ask you something like, do you think animated movies are just for kids, or can adults enjoy them too? How would you answer that?
Both adult and kids can enjoy animated movies because there are lots of things you can learn from that. Not only that, animation movies are based on some stories and they prepare and present it in a better way and a perfect way, I can say.
You could add something like, they also often present stories and themes in a way that's easy to understand for a younger audience, but still engaging for adults.
Okay.
Alright, let's try another question. The examiner might ask, do you think animated films are as good as live action films?
These things are separated, and I don't believe you can't compare with animation movies with action movies because the theme is different and the purpose is different. The actions movie are mainly targeted to the adult audience, but the animated films are targeted for the kids and the childs. So it's better to understand the theorem, but in action movie you might think a bit more why this is happening, and you can see some violence over there. However, these things are totally different.
That's a great point about how animated and live action films are different. You could simplify your answer by saying something like this. It's hard to compare animated and live action films since they have different purposes. Animated films often focus on imagination and fantasy, while live action films tend to be more realistic.
Oh, I got it, thank you.
All right, how about one more question? The examiner might ask, do you think animated films should try to teach children important values?
I do believe animated movies can teach children some wonderful values and important values because they are made such a way so it is easy to understand, and you can go with the information what they are providing. Not only the information what they are providing, but also they also focused on some purpose. This is purpose driven, so it could be helpful.
That's a great point about how animated movies can teach kids important values. You could add to your answer by saying something like, animated films are perfect for teaching kids because they can present complex ideas in a simple way that's easy to understand.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Thanks for sharing.
You're welcome. Do you want to do another mock interview? Or would you like to focus on a different part of the IELTS speaking test?
Well, based on my communication and based on my mock interview, what could be the possible band I can get?
Well, it's hard to say exactly what band score you'd get without a real examiner scoring your test. But I can give you some feedback based on our practice. You have some good ideas, and you seem comfortable speaking English. However, you might want to work on using more complex sentence structures and a wider range of vocabulary. Also, try to give more detailed answers and examples to support your points. Do you want to try another mock interview, focusing on those areas?
Before that, I need to know what could be the possible output, like the possible band I can get based on my previous mock interview.
All right, let's break down the IELTS speaking test into its 4 scoring criteria. This will give you a better idea of how the examiner would assess your performance. Fluency and coherence. You speak at a good pace, but there were a few times when you seemed to hesitate or repeat yourself. Lexical resource. You have a good range of vocabulary, but you could try using more descriptive words and less common phrases. Grammatical range and accuracy. You have a good grasp of grammar, but there were a few minor errors. Pronunciation. Your pronunciation is clear, but there were a few times when your intonation could have been better. Overall, I think you could aim for a band score of 6 or 6.5, but with more practice and focus on the areas I mentioned, you could definitely achieve a higher score.
Thank you so much. I think we can end the session now.
No worries. Let me know if you want to schedule another practice session sometime soon. I'm always here to help.
Okay, then, take care and good night.
Good night. Feel free to reach out if you need anything.
Bye bye.
Bye.